Will your children grow up Jewish? It all depends on their education. For more information about an Israeli scholarship, scan the QR code here. So with hundreds of rockets raining down overhead, we ask, what's it like living near the Gaza Strip, especially since 2005, when Israel unilaterally withdrew from the enclave and Hamas took power? With us to discuss is resident of the Gaza envelope in Israel, Adele Raemer. Adele, it's great to speak with you. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's start with how your weekend's been. Tell us of the last few days. I understand that there were rocket sirens really just moments ago over your kibbutz as well.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, so it's been a very strange round, and I've seen all of them since they started in 2008. We started with 3 days of what they called a silent escalation, and people were confused and didn't we know how to handle rockets. We don't know how to handle being kept within our communities, cordoned off specific roads. So people didn't really understand what was going on. And then it started when the IDF hit on Friday at about 4:15, and then the penny dropped. I mean, there were a lot of people that were complaining and very angry and saying, why aren't they doing anything? How can they keep us hostage like this? I was sort of waiting to see what the plan was, and happily there was a plan. So it's not been easy. My daughter, for example, the minute the IDF hit in Gaza, threw her kids in the car and went to someplace out of immediate rocket range. And indeed today they went down to Eilat, where our community, our kibbutz, is collectively evacuated to, because this is no place where you can have kids running around. We have 0 to 10 seconds in order to get to the safe room when the incoming rocket warning is sounded. So that's not a place where you can have children, even inside the house, as we remember when Daniel Tregerman Zal was killed in 2014. He was inside his house, but there's just not enough time. So
that reminds me, this happens seemingly every year, or even every other year, or every few months in some cases. How do you deal with this routine of will terrorists fire rockets or won't they?
We call it 95% heaven and 5% hell. In fact, our mayor Gadi calls it 99% heaven. So whatever you call it, the vast majority, the quality of life here is excellent for the vast majority of the time. There's zero crime. Your kids can go outside and play, and it's a beautiful area and quiet usually. For the 5%, you don't get used to it, but we learn how to deal. And this is my home. I've lived here since 1975. My children were born here. My parents are buried here. My husband is buried here. It's like, this is my home. And where would I go? Ashkelon, they get rockets. Beersheba gets rockets. Tel Aviv has had buses exploding. Jerusalem has had knifings up north. What? Terror is all over the place. And to what you were talking about before, the 9 o'clock thing, that's a big part of the terror. It's the whole thing of not letting terror win is, I'm here, and terror will not take my home away.
So is this a similar message that you have for maybe family or friends that you have in the United States? How are they dealing with what you're going through? I'm not talking to them too much. My closest family member is very elderly, and I certainly don't want to worry him. And the others, they're used to it. They know I live here. We've been through it before. They know that no news is good news. That's how we work in our family. If everything's quiet, then it's good. Well, now, again, you mentioned where would you go? But you said your daughter, for example, took your grandkids, went off to Eilat. There are places that are considered safer for all intents and purposes. So have you considered leaving Kibbutz Nirim for somewhere quieter?
Never. Not once. This is my home. And it's more than a home. It's community.
Right.
This kibbutz has community. We have history together. We have culture together. So the important thing that the government does, there's Rachel, there's this fund that communities that are right on the border are able to organize and be sent. Everyone goes to the same place. So Kibbutz Nirim is in one specific hotel in Eilat. They're doing things together with the part of the community that are there. And you know what? It's part of our history. We were one of the 11 points, the 11 Nekudot, when in 1946, when on Yom Kippur Eve, when 11 communities went out into the Negev to set a reality of the Jewish settlement in the state of Israel in the Negev. Half of our community was in Rishon and half of our community was down here. And so it's part of our history that in times of war, some people stay behind and the people that need to go, the children, the people that need to leave, but they're together. And community is the main thing, just like Am Yisrael, just the people of Israel being together. And I want to thank your viewers for the support, because really without the support of the entire Jewish community in the world, we wouldn't be able to do what we do here.
All right. Adele Raemer, stay safe. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Will your children grow up Jewish? It all depends on their education. For more information about an Israeli scholarship, scan the QR code here.